So from the optics alone, we were 3 times more efficient. And then we used a low voltage system, which again doubled the light output. So our tiny lights that you could hide in a lady's handbag, compared to a traditional 500 watt light. Then we added a triple movement for the zoom. So here we have the 2 lenses. We move to flood, we move to super flood, and we widen the angle, and then we go to spot, and then comes yet another movement. So all of this together is 2 added motions, just still 1 button, easy to use, and that gave us a whole bunch of extra advantages. But at the same time, we changed over to non-spherical systems. And the traditional light, a Fresnel light, in flood position, usually has a brighter rim on the outside. That's why you use diffusion. In Hollywood, it's called 216. That belongs to every light. And with our light, you don't need it. It's perfectly smooth, even, and no hot spot, and perfectly smooth all the way. Then there was still, with the metal halide discharge lamps, another problem, and that is that on the outside there's a rim of bluish light. And several optics professors told me, you can't do that. That's impossible. You cannot design optics that will redistribute the color. And yes, it was not easy, but still we did it. Took us another 3 years. And now we have something where you can go anywhere across and the spectrum will not change. Not everybody needs that. But if you want the precision, then that can be a great help. Then we got 2 times recognized by the Oscar committee. So it's wrong to say that I have Oscars. No, there are technical achievements awards that are separate from the Oscar, and we got that twice, and an Emmy and stuff like that. So we transferred all of this knowledge into the world of LED. And that sounds easy. Yeah, just take out the old light source and put an LED there. But LEDs have some special features. People talk about CRI, Color Rendition Index, which is from 1931. It caters to the human eye. It was based on 8 colors, but that's only part of the story. The problem is that if we go to a museum with our own eye, the CRI is valid. It says something. But the world in which we live is based on digital cameras. And there's a very beastly thing about sensors. Yeah, the receptacles where the image is made. And they're all different. You can build the very best light, but each camera will see it different, based on the difference of the sensor, of the low-pass filter, of all kinds of things. So, yes, we do all the spectrum analysis, thousands of that. We have 5 different spectrum analyzers. But the problem as a naive cameraman was that we all, and Marco was one of the main people involved in it, we tried to light reference light on one side of a face, human face, and LED light on the other side. And the left image is mixing a kinoflow, which in those days was a standard of the industry, daylight, with a desisti daylight, and then one side of the face turns green. Now, every young person would say, don't worry, we'll fix it in post. In the end, that's not so easy. So our light, this is many years ago, matched better the reference light. And then we continued that. Here's Marco with one of the early ones, showing that even from the same manufacturer, a Canon 5D Mark II, a Canon 5D Mark III, completely different rendition of the LED light. And the Sony went completely the other way. One goes green, one goes more green, the other goes magenta. That doesn't say anything about the light source, about the CRI, TLCI, TM30 values and all that, all the scientific evaluation of the light source. We have to live with the image that our end user sees. My great master and teacher, Johnny, always said, my client is the Kansas City milkman. We live from the end result as it is being seen, as it is being received in the end. And it took us over 10 years to develop LEDs that start matching the reference light. Here we didn't do it. Now, okay, the Alexa is relatively forgiving. The red is also somewhat forgiving. The other cameras that were difficult were the ones that we concentrated on and tried to match reference light and LED light for the very same face. And we came relatively close to it. We did it on different skin tones. Scandinavian, here Fernanda from Mexico, here Sebastião from Angola. That's the darkest one that we have in the company. In between we also have Ben that you saw in the video before from Ethiopia. And finally, we feel comfortable that we can match reference light with LED light. Now, there are other ways with multi color lights where you can analyze the sensor scientifically. Wonderful. And then you can mix the multicolor light to match that one sensor. Wonderful. Big step forward. But if you have 2 or 3 different cameras, you're in trouble. So that was one of the things that we concentrated on that was difficult for us. Okay, so we call these instruments precision lighting instruments. This is the classic light in flood, in medium, and spot. It's not Photoshop, that's Dedo light. So this is what we call the clean beam concept, which is part of the philosophy. If you don't like the clean beam, there are 23 different diffusion filters, but there's not a single filter that turns a light clean and makes a precise beam. So then this allowed us to add further optics, a non-spherical wide angle attachment, widening up to 90 degrees, and here you see the rotating barn doors, which is another story that we can't get into now. It's too much. Or we have this spreader that spreads the light and allows to place 5, 6, 7 lights in a row and create a continuous homogeneous river of light, which can do marvels in green screen studios. Again, subject for another show, another explanation. And I think it's very exciting. So far, it has not been understood very well. Then we have projection attachments, imagers. They're modular. You can exchange all kinds of functions. And the optics that we designed for these projection devices rival the best optics on cameras. Except that they don't cover a little measly little sensor. They cover a huge format, like much bigger in size than a Hasselblad. And they're still perfect in resolution, contrast and everything, at a fraction of the price of a camera optic. So our Australian colleague, John Bowring, said, why don't you turn them into tilt-shift lenses for the Red and Alexa cameras? And it's 20 years later now that we're trying to do that. There's so many ideas and many more coming that we have only started to realize some of them. Okay, so those are the miracle optics. And
a set of four 100s, classic 100s, and it was just like, God bless, we've got a lot, we can focus, we can lock it in position, and you gradually get used to them. And those two, the 100 and the 150, really have been a workhorse now for us on model shoots, for over 20 years.
You saw some of the credits. So all the Harry Potter series, every special effect is shot exclusively with Dedo light. Same is true for Lord of the Rings. Some of you may have seen American Beauty. Roses, they play a magic, symbolic role. Each rose is a Dedo light. Then there's a Back to the Future, not the one you saw in the movies, but the ride film. Doug Trumbull shot that with, I think, 120 Dedo lights. So wherever there are the highest demands, that's where we have a home, and usually exclusive. But at the same time, the very same lights are perfect for the hardworking, traveling news person. There are many countries where the vast majority of traveling mobile news teams work with nothing else but Dedo light. I would assume in Russia it's the predominant light source, and they do miracles with it. I'm amazed each time what you can do with it. I couldn't do it. I learned from them. I'm still a little kid being amazed how people do this and handle this, and I'm learning, and I want to learn every day. But then you can also take care. Another aspect of precision lighting. Here you see 6 coins. It's not 6 coins. It's 1 coin, just slightly different lighting. So this shows that on one hand, like you see behind me, we can project an image on the entire wall. Yeah, an image that you may have taken 5 minutes ago on your iPhone, printed out on a color printer, projected, and you have the illusion of there's a big space behind me. To tell you the truth, there isn't a big space behind me, just a projection. And so for the big projections, but also for the tiniest effect.
My name is Andrew Panchev, I'm from Bulgaria. Photography is not my job, it is not my hobby. Photography is my life. And in this life, the light is my passion. Thanks to the possibilities of Dedo light, I managed to put a light beam which is only less than 1 millimeter, just to lit the eye. It's so precise system that you can achieve something which many people think that it's unachievable, and they can't believe that you can do this.
Practically, for me, there is no limitation, technical limitation, to achieve the result which I would like to.
My name is Andrew Panchev. I'm from Bulgaria.
Lighting the entire wall, or if you add more lights to it, you can light the entire studio, and we have some examples a little later. To the other extreme, I would say, is to say you can decide which facet of a diamond you want to light. And you have a lot of choices how you do that. And this is just a quickie look at some of the abilities that we have. At the same time, the very same instruments in the hands of the run and gun shooter, the solo creator that doesn't have time to take care of the equipment. So our equipment also is the fittest in survival. Bad for us, because people are still using lights that were built 35 years ago. They are called indestructible. Okay, so Julio Macat, the guy who shot Home Alone and now the beautiful film After the Wedding, he said, I like to do eyes. Eyes, like what do you mean? Like in the old Russian films, highlighting the eye portion of a face. And I said, how do you do it? And he said, with the data light in the barn doors. And I said, why don't you use the projection attachment? And I tried it. No way. Doesn't work. So I tried all my diffusion filters, 23 different types of diffusion filters. Doesn't work. I tried all my camera filters. I have a big case full of those. Doesn't work. And only then were we able to define that what we need is a different device, a soft edge filter. So here you see Fred without the filter number 1, 2, and 3. And that's not only for Julio's eyes. That's how we call these filters. It is also good for anything where you shoot commercials. You light the label on the beer bottle hard, looks awful. Filter number 1, 2, 3, and you achieve effects. Nobody sees what you've done. It just works. And that's the magic of our profession. It doesn't matter how expensive are the tools, how simple are they. It's how you use them and how to create illusions and lead people to believe something like we're doing right here now. That background behind me is sitting right on my shoulders. But we try to give the illusion like space, three-dimensionality. And with all the wonderful counting of pixels, how many pixels does a Van Gogh painting have? Our cameras still have one eye, and they see two-dimensional images. So we're trying to create the illusion of a three-dimensional world of depth without distracting from the subject, rather than guiding the attention of our viewer. Light, or without light, there's nothing. Lighting can be interesting. Very important, the big brother of light, the shadow. The shadow can convey often more emotions, more message than the light can ever do. But all of this is only to tell stories, to lead people into entertainment, to make them happy or sad. So we just make the brushes, and making an expensive brush and a perfect brush and a high power brush doesn't matter. Doesn't make a good painter. It's how you use it, and that's still our passion, and that has led us to creating these tools. There's some more of these background projections with gobos and so on, and then the subject trying to match the lighting of the virtual background with the lighting on the person. And here we did it in a simple way with slides. Who these days would use slides? but in a virtual studio that can be a technology. And the culmination that we've come to now is, look here, that's our 400 watt HMI light. Now we add another piece of optics, and we have the same exit angle, only now we have 500% more. Can you believe that? Our spot position was better than anybody else's. Focusing range 1 to 20. We can outperform much bigger lights. In the natural version of this light, now we add the miracle optics and have the parallel beam intensifier. And that is our latest joy and kick, the Lightstream system. And reflectors, everybody has reflectors. This is from early 70s. I shot a film in Indonesia. The roofs were going down very low. The people live on a platform. So I had tabletops. Put some reflective material onto those. Some crumpled up, some straight, hard reflectors, soft reflectors. I took the sunlight and I reflected it onto the inside of the roofs and put more reflective material here, and looks beautiful. The sun was very cooperative there. You don't have to go out very often and reset the reflectors. So, or this is from Adamski, our friend in Poland, used to be the head of lighting in national television, now has a big rental house, and he says everybody uses reflectors. This is a feature film there, where on the right-hand side you see mole beam lights going straight up into reflectors, shining the light into the inside of the houses. So none of this is new, but we find a deeper approach to it, and this is the biggest one that we have. Not impressive. Only 1.2 kilowatt. You can drive that from grandmother's kitchen outlet. Because all the professionals have one question, and that is how many watt? Well, not many watt, just 1200 watt. But amazingly, it outperforms much bigger lights. It has an incredible output, incredible reach, a 2-degree angle, and that's why after testing all the other lights that were available today for the Ad Astra film, how to create the illusion of sunlight, of natural light from a huge distance, and for it. And this is the gaffer who conducted all the tests.
Movie Ad Astra, it's a James Gray film, and with Hoyt van Hoytema is the director of photography, and he had a request that we find a very specialized lamp, or that we create a very specialized lamp that was a parabolic lamp that actually was parabolic and didn't have a big hole in the center. And Hoyt was very concerned that in scenes that we had to have the sun, that it be a parallel beam and not a spreading beam. David and Dedo brought down the PV70. We tested it in camera tests at Camtech prior to the show, and it was exactly what we were looking for. A perfectly parallel and even light that replicated the sun. The beam is fantastic. That's the first great thing about it. It's a 1200 HMI. You can plug it into the house. When we tested mole beams, we tested 18Ks. We bounced lamps into mirrors. We did everything we could think of, and nothing compared to the PV70.
There are many beam lights existing in our profession. When I was a kid, they were used to find the bombers. There was no night vision devices. You see them in Vegas, you see them for show. But this is again something a little bit special. And then we continued. We have, for example, a tiny little light, a puppet light, yeah? And how can that be professional? And when you put it in the spot position, you have 700 lux, and then you put the new piece of optics in front and you have 7,000 lux. Yeah? The spot position of our lights always excelled and was better than anybody else. And all of a sudden we multiply that by 200, 300, 500 or more additional output percentage. So that's the toy, the miracle. It's not increasing. The professional will now say, how many watt does it have now? Well, it's the same light. We just make better use of it. And that opens the gate to the Lightstream system, where we add incredible extra percentage, and with small lights, low wattage, we can do miracles. We can now light a whole row of reflectors, all with one beam, and divert them into parallel beams and create the illusion of faraway sunlight, even in grandmother's kitchen. And we have 5 different sizes of reflectors, 5 different surfaces of reflectors, so that gives us some toys. Number 1 just redirects the light, number 2 spreads it 12 degree, 30 degree, over 90 degree. That's not new. Those things have been around for a long time, and all these materials are commonly available. Everybody can buy them. Everybody can put them together. The holding devices are slightly different design. So here, as the light goes into hard reflector, goes into softer reflector, and then we light part of the wall. Number 2 has this 12 degree spread. Then here we see the light being redirected and then spread. With a laser we see that better. Here first the laser doesn't seem to change much, and then it spreads out to cover the entire, so that of the theory, that's a bigger reflector. So here is one sitting on the street. Now it gets interesting. We light up straight, rain or snow, into the 3 by 3 foot, 1 by 1 meter reflector, kick it into the room, reflectors, more reflectors, re-reflecting, and we could light the entire. But now comes the big trick. The light does not come from the light fixture. Wait a minute. Yeah? Where else should it come from? No, it comes from a virtual light source that is way behind the light fixture. How come? Yeah? You elongate the outer rays of the beam, and where they meet, you find the virtual light source. So this means the light comes from much further away than we put the lighting instrument. And when we reflect it, then the light comes from way out of the sky, where it would be very expensive to rent a crane that could do that. So the illusion of natural light, even in the smallest studio, that's what we can achieve. And then everybody knows, every lighting person has learned about the square law. That's basics, that's inescapable. We're the slaves of it. That's worse than taxes. Double the distance, 1/4 of the light. So here we look at the light at 5 meter. So at 10 meter, it should be 1/4 of that. That's the column where we say law. Yeah? 112,000 should be 28,000. but it isn't. It's 68,000. Now we double the distance again. We go 20 meters, 60 feet. Now it should be 7,000, but it's 18,000. So it's cheating the square law. No, it's not true, because the square law now refers to the virtual light source and not to the light head that you see sitting in the street. But also to say, with our measly 1.2 kilowatt, we have a bunch more light than an ARRI 4K in the spot position or an ARRI 9K in its spot position. So it's efficient, it works, and this we transferred now into the parallel beam intensifiers for our 21 different focusing lights. Not everybody needs all of those. Most people have never heard of them, never seen them. I'm just trying to impress the hell out of you with all the things that we've done. And to say, I'm a kid, I'm still playing, I'm still learning. And then you have the one light and go into one reflector, and then that kicks it into 4 different reflectors. From there into all of those and into more reflectors and that. And then you add another light, bicolor LED light, and you create some uplight, and that changes the character of your talent entirely. And then you can go on and project a background if you want to. Okay, so this is our toy that we're playing with, and we're developing it. And in late August, we'll shoot in a tiny studio, and we'll show you that we'll make it look like one of the biggest studios that you've ever seen, just with this system in different ways, in different lighting characters. This is from England, Ian Murray, who shoots a bunch of commercials, documentaries, music videos, and so on, all with our reflected light system. And it has a character of its own. So it's not only an economical way, it is also the most ecological way in the media industry. But I still have my doubts that anybody, seriously, will choose it for those reasons. We all talk about ecology, but in reality, the only thing that we do in Germany is we separate the garbage very well. Yeah. But in the media industry, that message has not arrived yet. And the media industry is very, very power hungry. Okay, so here's a little thing. That's so charming. I would like to show that. It's a French-Canadian tremendous expense for this little house. I think it cost them something nearly like $20. Incredible, yeah, for Hollywood budgets. And he lit it with reflectors. One inside, okay, that explains it. And now you can put the roof back on it. And now come more reflectors. A whole array of more reflectors. And that is part of the new Lightstream tabletop system for jewelry, cosmetics, food, and stuff like this. And I think it's quite charming. And now he's going to set up something on the background, I think, and lighting the house from the outside. And that's our smallest light, an 8-watt light, for which we also have the parallel beam intensifier, but it's not used here. And creating a different background. And we just try to play and show people how to play and how to create these wonderful games Isn't that worth $20 house? Okay. Now, lighting a TV studio. This is a simulation. This is not a real TV studio. Like a 5-people talk show, and with a whole bunch of reflectors. One light lighting 4 reflectors here, another small LED light lighting the entire row of reflectors here, 5 reflectors here, and 2 lights for the background, and a soft light to make it as smooth as you want it in a mixture. So usually this setup would have been something like 30 kilowatt in old-fashioned days. We do it with all these light fixtures here, same light level, 790 watt. And that, for some people, that sounds like it's worthwhile to look at. And we can motorize the reflectors, and we can DMX motorize. And that's studios that Alex installed in Israel. 3 studios, all installed in 1 week, from unpacking the equipment to getting onto the air. And a big trick here is the background is a window, and you look out to the open sea, and the sunlight comes in, and at night the sun doesn't play. And to keep one lighting setup for all these occasions, all the different positions of people, and trying to balance it with little wattage and still coming up with a reasonable balance. And in the meantime, we've designed a huge big bunch of other studios. Some of it are gigantic, and it's an interesting way to follow. So this is for the single shooter. This is from, I think we need to listen to the sound of Pete, because he explains it very, very well. Is that going on? The sound, is it running?
There's no sound.
That's a video from Pete where he explains how he does it.
It's not rolling, Dedo. No, it's not rolling.
Aha. Okay. So that is.
No, this is a picture due to the lines you see in there. The video must be afterwards somewhere.
Here?
Yeah.
That's the video. Okay.
I think I need to light creatively with Dedo.
Now there should be some. Is there?
Pause.
Light is a double case. Here's a typical interview lighting setup before Lightstream came along. The backlight is a Dedo 3. The backlight 7 with D1 imager and FX glass. Filoni panel with honeycomb Lightstream key. The Lightstream reflector position as the Filoni key was, 2 meters from the subject. Although the reflector is still 2 meters away, the light source is now over there, 3 meters away. So the total distance from fixture to subject is now 5 meters. Because of this greater distance from the light source to the subject, we minimize the effect of the square law. Put simply, the subject doesn't get brighter as they lean forward towards the reflector. With the original key light back in place, you can see the subject becomes overexposed as they lean closer to the light source. Using Lightstream removes this problem. The output of this tiny DLED 3 light is increased more than 8 times when using the 610 intensifier. The light reading without the intensifier is 1500 lux. With the intensifier, it becomes 13,000 lux, which is 8.6 times more light. The beauty of Lightstream is that one light source can feed multiple reflectors. Here, a second reflector redirects some of the light from the key light beam to the backlight reflector. Controlling the beam intensity is easy. Simply move the reflector in or out of the source beam. The absolute best part of lighting with Lightstream is the quality of the light it delivers. Lightstream reflectors give a beautiful, diffuse light that sometimes gives skin tones a slightly velvet appearance. This case has become my principal interview lighting kit. It's compact and contains everything I need to give me the Lightstream look.
That's the next development for the smallest team called Lightstream Light, with a new bunch of tiny little mounting accessories. Ross Lowell once called mounting pleasure. And this now is a brother of the Lightstream system. It's called Eflect. That's a combination of effect and reflection, and does miracles. But for this, we want to show a video. Okay.
Okay, everybody, we're back. Are we online?
Yes, we are.
All right. So we have somebody else to introduce to you. It's Dmitry from Dedo Light Russia, and he has a welcome note for you. There you go.
And we cannot sit in office. We host many presentations from Kaliningrad to Vladivostok. Today is a holiday in Russia. This means I watch the stream from home and send you this recording as welcome. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the stream.
Sorry guys, we had some problems with the voice of Dimitri, and I will now play it back again with the whole sound.
Hello, my name is Dmitry. I'm from Dedo Russia. Dedo Russia is a sales organization with our own service center. Our showrooms features all of the current Dedo Light production range. Since Russia is such a big country and we cannot sit in office, we host many presentations from Kaliningrad to Vladivostok. Today is a holiday in Russia. This means I watch the stream from home and send you this recording as welcome. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the stream.
All right, that was Dimitri from Moscow. Just received a mail where to look at the stuff. You're right, this stuff is great in theory, but you have to look at it to know what it can do. We're here in Düsseldorf. We have a rental station, we have a showroom. Dedo himself in Munich. We have Dedo Tech Russia. We have Dedo Light California. There's a number of retailers also available. Just give us a signal and we will tell you where to go. You can look at it first before you buy or rent anything, which is absolutely critical so you know what you're doing. This stuff is not self-explaining. You have seen how much effort Dedo is putting into it. You need to see it to know what it's doing, and you need to handle it to know what it's doing. So come over to one of our places, take it in your hands and be amazed. That's basically it. This is a revolution. I have never seen in almost 40 years in business now something which is so much better than anything else you've been handling before. This is absolutely great. So Next up will be Q&A. There's more questions coming up, and we might be able to answer them. We have everybody online, I think, in a few minutes. Munich. Okay, Munich is experiencing some problems. YouTube AI is not easy for us today. Okay. Any questions, please come forward in the chat. You've seen the iSet filters that really made it. It's okay. We're finished, I think. We're back on in. We're back on in multiple views, so you can see all of us and ask questions. Questions, please come forward in the chat. You've seen the iSet filters that really made it. It's okay. We're finished, I think. We're back on in. We're back on in multiple views, so you can see all of us and ask questions. Questions, please come forward in the chat. You've seen the iSet filters that really made it. It's okay. We're finished, I think. On in. We're back on and so you can see us. Questions, please come forward in the chat. You've seen the iSet filters that really made it. It's okay. We're finished. We're back on and so you can see us. Questions, please come forward in the chat. You've seen the iSet filters that really made it. It's okay. We're finished. We're back on and so you can see us. Questions, please come forward in the chat. You've seen the iSet filters that really made it.
Today, I want to talk about Eflect. The name derives from a combination of effect and reflections. The amazing function is based on 4 contributing elements. Unique multi-mirror reflectors, small mirrors, large mirrors, now in 3 different sizes. For these, we developed a special carrier material which allows the reflector to be bent and shaped. Number 2, our focusing Dedolights. 21 different Dedolights with unique, patented, awarded non-spherical lenses and the change of exit angle like. Number 3, the magic new parallel beam intensifier. That's our latest culmination of optical developments, where the focusing lights in their unprecedented spot function, narrow angle, allow precision already and focus and reach and output like nothing else. Added the clean beam concept, no stray light. Now, the parallel beam intensifiers magically multiply the light intensity many times over the already unprecedented spot performance, even up to additional 500%. Unbelievable?
but true and demonstrable. Number 4, bicolor filters. At first sight, they look absolutely stupid and simple, but used on the light, they reveal and create astounding color magic. The result? An emotional creation in endless variation, where the light fixture is used in close proximity. It can provide a gentle flowing effect and a blending of light and color, like blossoms on a lake floating, like in the Monet painting in the Paris Museum of Marmottan, seen through a gentle diffusion. Now, when the light fixture is at a further distance from the reflector, the effects will be more distinct, more separated, resembling sunlight falling through a leaf tree in little spots. Bending and shaping the multi-mirror reflectors changes the spread and arrange totally different appearances. Now, for a portrait or interview situation, we can create an incredible variety of backgrounds, moods, and effects. Usually we trend to do an effect that is only on the background. When you want it, you can also include the lighting on the talent. Lighting in a large studio, we can continue the effect of several lights and several Eflect reflectors to create a truly magic fairy tale ambience. For the smallest tabletop setup, the new little Eflect reflector can add a magical touch. An infinite universe of variety only limited by your own creative imagination.
That's it from our side.
So we're back in Düsseldorf. And if you wonder, you don't need to take these colors. You can cut your own colors and put them on with clear tape. So whatever you want to do, you can do it. Lightstream, you've seen it, is a very versatile stuff. We can show you what it's going to do. You can take a look at it in person. Well, we're now switching over to Burbank, California, to Sean, who will give you some more information about his place. Over to Sean, please. Sean live?
Well, it's tradition over here to do actual demos so that you guys can get an idea of the sense of what these things are, and that's kind of what we do here. So I set up just a tiny demo display to give you an idea of Lightstream. I'll go over there right now so you can check it out. We set up our favorite little our little toy here, the Millennium Falcon, and what I've done is we have a little tabletop setup that we've built here just to do our demos with. We don't feel like we can actually promote these things without showing people what they can actually expect from them. So what I have here is I have a PB70, this amazing little device that goes onto a DLED3. I'm sorry, this is the DPBA610. And what I've done is in using Lightstream in the tabletop setup here, you can actually use that single light source to create multiple light sources. So what I've done is I've created a grid of small Lightstream reflectors here. You can see that I actually can cut light by just flagging off certain reflectors that are heading to different directions. So I have my source, which is a DLED3. If I was to take that source off and spot down the light into its native spot, you can see a pretty big difference in output and why you want to use a parallel beam intensifier. So now I'm going to put the parallel beam intensifier back on and spot it back down so you can actually see the effects that are taking place on this Millennium Falcon while I'm actually spotting into the new spot that the parallel beam intensifier gives. So what I've done here is I've got a few reflectors in my array. One of them is a number 1 reflector. The number 1 reflector redirects the beam natively from its source, and that is why it is so important to use the parallel beam intensifier so that you can actually control and manipulate reflecting light in an organized manner. So that number 1 is actually redirecting a beam to a little kicker, a little backlight here, okay? That's falling on the back side of this. Now this is a number 2 reflector. Number 2 reflector will take that tight beam and spread it out to about 12 degrees. So you can see that it's an isolated source here, and I can cut that off for you just by flagging it off. I have basically, when I'm setting up Lightstream like this, I just try to show people that you can have a key light. So wherever it is that you're going to set up an array, you might as well just put a key light source there in order to get that, it's a good way to organize light streaming. So I have a number 3 reflector, which is acting as a key here right in the front and flooding out this section that I can actually manipulate with some, tabletop flagging. The other thing is another number 1 that's right here. Now you can see that I'm redirecting light from that number 1 to what is a small Eflect reflector. I'm going to actually take this down so you can see it here. So here's a little small Eflect reflector. That is all coming from a redirected source up here in a little Lightstream array of small reflectors, little tabletop reflectors. And all I'm doing is basically just manipulating this light, and it's a gold reflector so I can get different color out of it, which is also something that you want to be doing with Lightstream, because you've got perfectly colored light because everything is coming from a native source from here. So you don't have to worry about color. Color is perfect. So if you want to change color, you can do that after, or you can actually you can do it at the source. So this is just a little Eflect reflector. It's fun. You can. By no means, I am not a DP, so you got to be easy on me in the comments here. All I'm doing is basically showing you what I show all of our clients here at Dedo Light California, what the systems are capable of doing. And we like to show them in little setups like this. This is the smallest. Actually, I should go back. This is not the smallest now. The little 8-watt Lightzilla focusing light now has an actual parallel beam intensifier. Dedo, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to get it over here so I can start demoing that as well. So everything starts with the parallel beam intensifier. The reflectors are reflectors. They do what you would expect reflectors to do. They reflect light. They'll reflect light from sources. What is amazing is what happens when you can actually do them with the parallel beam intensifier. To finish this off, Dedo Light now has the projector, the shutter projector and the universal projector for the 8-watt Lightzilla, which is a tabletop masterpiece. I'm not sure if you could see with my suspect web streaming cameras here what that actually looks like, but I'm actually just lighting the face of my Lego character inside the Millennium Falcon. So Han Solo, I can actually get just his little face here. And then you can use something like these softening filters, which no one really uses here in the States, and I've been educating people about them, and since I've been doing that, we really have had a different, process by which people understand how Dedo lights can be used. So I basically soften that little look on Han Solo's face there, and I can turn it up, change the color. If you can see that, I'm not sure from our little webcam over there, but there it is right there. It's a pretty incredible little device. The DLED3 with the parallel beam intensifier is really one of the smallest systems that you can use with Lightstream. Again, Dedo said he's got 21 focusing lights. They all have parallel beam intensifiers, so no matter what you have, whether you have classics, you now have a parallel beam intensifier which you can use for those. But that system then goes up and scales up to the PB70. The PB70 is the largest of those systems. So we have a little setup here that we built to show people exactly what Dedo was talking about, which is a condensing and collapsing the amount of space that you can get realistic sunlight through a window. So we built this little throwaway wall right here, this little fly-in that we can show people. I have a PB70 right behind it. I have a number 1 meter reflector there that's actually delivering amazing natural sunlight through this window. So, at Dedo Light California, we're just trying to, get more people involved in the demo process and educate them as much as we can. This is what we do day in and day out. This is what we kind of thrive on and enjoy the most. And if you want to learn more about us, you can hit us up on our webpage, DedoLightCalifornia.com. I highly recommend that you check that out. Got some good videos there and demos that we can present to the rest of the world in case you want to learn more about light streaming. It's really exciting and it's picking up a lot of steam here. So we're really excited about it. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, we're back in Düsseldorf, Germany, and we encourage you to come forward with us to tell us what you want to see in the future, some more expanded. You've seen in the back we have Aladdin lights, we have Let Go, we have Nan light. There's a lot of stuff that we can expand into, and for sure the Lightstream and the Eflect system will need some extra attention. Some of you might have forgotten half of what Dedo has talked about tomorrow. I know I will. First time I've seen Dedo, I was just overwhelmed, but I bought my first Dedo light the day after. So, yeah. We're here for you. We can offer some more information. Just come forward to us what you want us to tell you. Now we are going into Q&A with Dedo and Sean, and we're waiting for your questions. Talked about tomorrow. I know I will. First time I've seen Dedo, I was just overwhelmed, but I bought my first Dedo light the day after. So, yeah, we're here for you. We can offer some more information. Just come forward to us what you want us to tell you. I might just as well in the interim drink a sip of whiskey and talk dirty jokes, but I'm
I know you can't hear me, Dedo, but
again,
it's good to see you.
So
Happy to be a part of this with you. I can't wait to see that that little parallel beam intensifier for the Ledzilla.
By the way,
That's
we have
be
our
really
own
exciting.
expert in Lightstream lighting. Pete, can you come forward?
Drink a sip of whiskey and talk dirty jokes, but I know you can't hear me, Dedo.
That's Pete. He's basically the expert in anything that's Lightstream and Eflect. He's been working with a number of very high-class photographers over the last years, creating some of the most exposed campaigns with only Lightstream. And he's an expert for natural lighting. And also he's a very good location scout. If you need a location in Germany or somewhere close to Germany, ask him. He's your man.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, my man. So yeah, rental studio as well. We have 150 square meters in here, 4 meters 30 ceiling height. We have a cyclo top and bottom. We have a ceiling track system. We have flash, we have LED lighting, and a number of hot lights as well, dinosaur lights. But yeah, we're working for a dinosaur company with future lights in it. So come and visit us. So yeah, rental. Any questions coming up? We have 150 square meters in here, 4 meters 30 ceiling height. We have a cyclo. Oh yeah, and where to buy? Dedo himself, of course, Dedo Light Munich. Then there's a number of online dealers who will add links later on in the comments on the video once it's stored on YouTube. And the thing is, Dedo has a barrage of products. The Tiffin filters are 1,000 or more. So very, very hard to list this with going to Amazon and asking for am I off? Microphone's on. Sorry, we're experiencing some problems again. Am I on? Okay, I'm back on. So, the list of products that Dedo carries is immense. Whatever you want to know, just ask us, ask one of the dealers. We will help you find what you need. This is not Amazon, this is not click it, buy it. Most of it needs explanation and some guidance to know what to do about it. So we're here, we see you. Goodbye for now, and see you next time. Bye.
All right, well, I think I'll just say a couple things here. I think I've got a cue to just kind of wrap this up on our end. Look, we're available anytime to talk to anyone around the world who's interested in data light. We believe in these systems. They are unparalleled in their engineering, and the results speak for themselves. Those of you who know them know how special they are. You know where your agent is, and if you need to find your agent locally to you, we're happy to help with that. Basically, get in touch with us whenever it is that you need to, no matter where you are around the world, and we're happy to talk to you and invite you into our little family here at Data Light California. Thanks for having us be a part of this live stream, and we'll let you guys wrap this one up.
Am I on?
Yes.
I can't read the questions from here, it's too far away, but I think I picked up something where somebody said it's too complex, too complicated, and takes a long time. For some, it will come very easy, especially for newcomers that don't have their mind set on how grandmother did it. If you want to look at Jeffrey Weil, he's an American who works in China, and there's a nice video where he first used Lightstream and thought he'd put it into a big diffuser to create a big soft light. And then he said, maybe that's not what it's all about. Then he kicked in some sunlight into a bank building. And next he started using the reflectors more efficiently. It's an interesting to see a 3-4 stage learning curve. There's another question that I saw somewhere there. If I could ever read it, it's too far away and I can't read it. But something said about the spill light. Yes. Depending on how you set up the lights and the reflectors. Question for shutters. That's not so easy. Light and on the parallel beam intensifier. I'm still playing with that. We want to keep the set clear of 50 extra flag systems and stuff like that. And that's playing with a system from passing by the reflector and sometimes disturbing. If you're in a big studio and the walls are black, often you get away with it. But if you're in a room that has brighter walls, that could be quite disturbing. And therefore, I'm hoping that in about 3 weeks, we'll be able to introduce a system that takes care of it for one reflector or 4 reflectors together or a whole array of reflectors without adding extra stands and arms and so on. So yes, I'm aware of that, and it's been disturbing, and it's a dream, one of the many dreams that we have to get rid of, because the spill light is a nightmare. And when we want to specialize on precision light, light shaping, and the word shutters is a good word, the word flags with extra stands, we'd like to keep the set as clean as possible. So I think I have a way, and hopefully we'll be soon able to show it and demonstrate it and send you the pictures and the videos, and also let you play with it and see how it works for you. So that was one of the questions. Are there any others that I should answer?
Kannst du es lesen?
Nee.
James fragt, ob man einen DP1 vor einem DPBA setzen könnte, sowas von der Logik.
But the idea, the dream is good, yes. But it doesn't, not yet. I'm going the other way. I'm working on the side of the reflector. But it's a good suggestion, and we'll also play with that. A lot of times, like I said, the original Dedo light, we could fill an entire museum with all the lights that didn't work. So it's hands-on and making mistakes that will eventually show us the way. Edison, supposedly, the story goes, building the light bulb, it worked on the 1000th time. So somebody came to him and said, that means 999 times you failed. And he said, no, 999 times I learned how not to do it. And so using it, working with it, and the input from people like you, I wish this were live and we could talk and look each other in the face and so on. Somebody suggested, why don't you do it on Zoom? I have little experience with those, but on Zoom, you can see the other guy's face, and then it seems to be a more direct contact, live with no delays. So as you can see, we're still also trying to learn from mistakes that we're making right now. And thank you for the input, very valid. It will be answered, but as usual, with new developments and new ideas, I can't tell you when I'll succeed. I'll tell you that I'll try, and I'll try again, and usually in the end, we made it work. But thank you. And I'm not a good social media person. I still feel insecure there. If you want to write to me on my email, that's easy. I do that every day, and I try and come back with answers quickly. So that's Weigert at dedoweigertfilm.de for Deutschland, Germany. Write to me, and I may not have a good answer immediately, but I love this, and it's very important. It's not what I do. It's not my dreams anymore. That was in the beginning. Now it's the dialogue with you, the feedback, the criticism, the bitching. This doesn't work. You said that what, and it doesn't. That's what I need. And please, don't be shy. And I love it. And it keeps me alive. Because I look like an old dinosaur, yes. But inside is a 14-year-old. And if you want to come to my sandbox and play with me, welcome anytime. Is that a good word to end?